Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. In fact, where are you in the world today? I want to say Happy New Year because obviously we're in 2022. So hard to believe that we are already in 2022. It'll go quick. So I think it's important for us to plan um, as quickly as we can. What are we doing in 2020 to get our businesses to six-figure months? Some people may think that's undoable, but I'm going to share today how you can get there. It's a very simple process, actually. And interestingly enough, a lot of people who are in my position who are training, sharing knowledge, sharing education, sometimes don't talk about these things. They don't talk about, what it takes, if you will, to get to the big dollars. So as you guys are coming in, like I say, just tell me, where in the world are you? Good morning, Jenny. So glad to see you. Um, and what is, I'm going to ask this question, even though I got a little piece of fuzz on my lip. Sorry about that, y'all. Um, going to ask this question, even though it's not the topic of what we're talking about today, but I think it ties in. It bears having the conversation anyway. So when we start a new year, in many cases, a lot of times people will, one, either set New Year's resolutions, which frankly I've stopped doing. I find that especially the personal ones, like instead of like saying I'm going to do X, Y, Z, because I sometimes don't do those things, I let the ball drop and I don't do them. I have started being focused on intention and picking my word for the year. So curious as to whether or not you agree, like do you find that you've been able to manage setting New Year's goals and actually doing them? Or do you like the whole one word, pick a word and sticking with it for the year? Um, we got Pence. Let's see, Penn England in the house. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. We've got Pamela from North Carolina. Good morning, Pamela. Um, Paul, always good to see you, my friend. Is it snowing in Maryland? So my oldest son couldn't get here for Christmas until a couple of days after Christmas, so we had a late Christmas. But this is the interesting part. So they left, my son and his girlfriend left yesterday, and it was like 82 here when they left, and they got back to Tennessee and it was snowing. So I'm like, that's like, talk about spectrums, right? Marie, I'm so glad to see you, girl. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas and a happy new year. Good morning, Richard. I'm glad you're here. Excellent. Okay, so Teresa from Pennsylvania is in the house. Awesome. We've got Maria from DC. Lots of snow. Yeah. So how much snow? Like, I'm just always curious. We just went skiing, and a lot of the snow there, because they've been having trouble getting the snow was late. A lot of it was man-made. Now I understand since then, like the whole Colorado space has been inundated with snow. Um, Rhonda says it's snowing in Virginia. Paul says they've got 3 to 7. All right, so I'm going to try to reel myself back in. If you guys are on and you've been in it, I've been on any of my shows before. Sometimes I go down a little rabbit hole. We're talking about a lot of things here, but Jenny says she does both goals and a word. So I'm going to share my word for the year, and I would love it if you want to share your word. If you have a word, like sometimes people don't think about it in the context of just a word. Maybe they want to lose weight, or maybe they want to grow their business, or, maybe they want to take self-care is important for them in the upcoming year because they haven't done such a great job at it in the previous year. But for me, my word for this year is possibility, or possible, because I think that's such a big word, and I've always been a believer in what's possible, and the reality that so many things are, yet we don't step into our possibles. So Jenny is saying her word is resilient. Love that word. It's got a lot of strength to it. Richard is saying his word is consistency. I agree there. That's a good word. Um, let's see. Let me see what other words I see here. Dancing. Okay. All right. I like that. So my friend Molly, last year that was, I don't know if that was one of her words, but one of her, I don't want to speak for her, but one of the things I saw her do so much more last year was really stepping into her fun, just having more fun. And she did a lot of dancing last year on social, and, just released a lot of those like blocks around. So I'll own it for myself. Like, the blocks that we have on, like, just dance like nobody's watching. Like, I'm always like, see how somebody's watching, right? So, but being able to release those things. So I love this. So focus. And then we have Katie saying faith. Yes, always. Um, let's see. Awesome. 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 Okay. So a couple of quick little things that we're going to be doing that's slightly different. One of the things that we are implementing, we just opened up a brand new Facebook group for 2020. So if you are a coach, a consultant, a service provider, a course creator, anybody with a level of expertise, a skill set, a system that you would like to monetize, whether you're already monetizing it or maybe you're not yet, then I invite you to check out the group, which is, you can find it quick and easy at kimgarst.com / experts unlimited, unleashed, sorry, experts unleashed. Now, what we're doing different, one, we've got the group, but we're also going to be doing show notes for this show, and we're going to be putting them in that group. So if you would like show notes for the Marketing That Grows Your Business show, or anytime I'm live for that matter, we're going to be starting to put those show notes in the Experts Unleashed group. So if you're interested in show notes, that's the place to go. We're going to be doing a lot of really cool things in that group in the coming months. So if you have expertise and you would like to monetize it higher than you're currently monetizing it, that's going to be a great place for you. So that's one quick thing I wanted to share with you. The other thing that I wanted to share real quick is we're doing giveaways. We do giveaways on every one of my shows. This one is no different. Today's giveaways, if you will, are going to be two things. One is a book that I think is an amazing book, and it's so relevant to what we're going to talk about today. It's called The One Thing. Definitely encourage you to compete, because it is a competition for this particular giveaway. We're going to be giving away the book. We're also going to be giving away one Possibility Maker mug. So I shared this story about what my team did for me. I think a couple of lives ago, where I said a possibility maker on one of my shows, and it stuck. It resonated, and so they created a whole line of possibility maker branded things, t-shirts, mugs, essentially, really stepping into the concept of the possibility. So that's a part of my entire year. So if you are about making possibilities for others that you serve, then come along, be a possibility maker. But we're going to be giving away both of those gifts today, prizes, whatever words you want to say. Now, how do you win? So you win by, I get my finger wrong every time, sharing what we call the aha moments. So if you hear something, if I say something that's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that, or oh my gosh, I knew it, but I needed to hear it again in this moment. That's what an aha moment is. And if you sprinkle this out into the world, you get extra chances to win. We enter you in additional times into the Wheel of Wow. We'll spin it at the end of today's show and we'll announce the winners. So definitely want to be here if you can stick around to the end, because we're going to, like I say, we're going to be giving away the One Thing book as well as the Possibility Maker mug. So 2 things. Okay, I'm going to take a breath. Let me see. What do we have? I was just making sure. Oh, I love this. So Carrie, y'all, you need to connect with Carrie. She's amazing. But she says, have your friend read The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. I love that book. Such a great book. So thanks for suggesting that one. All right. So let's get with it here. Let me share my screen. We're going to be talking about, I always hit the wrong button. Hang on, y'all. There we go. Got the right buttons now. Again, the topic for today is going to be the exact method for creating 6-figure months. Now, how many of you are at 6-figure months? Now, there's no judgment. I always say this all the time on anytime I'm live or otherwise. This is a judgment-free zone. Like, it's not about like, oh, I'm so much better, or I'm doing this, that, or the other thing, or I'm not there yet. It doesn't matter. We're all entrepreneurs. We're all business owners. We're all on the journey, and we're at different places, and sometimes we've taken offshoots and we need to get back on the road. And, there's all different paths. But if you aren't at 6-figure months, this is my next question to you. Do you believe it's possible? Do you believe it's possible for you and your business to get to 6 figures? Because it's very hard to really share something with somebody who doesn't believe that it's even a possibility for them. Remember, I'm going to be sharing the possibles all year long. All right. So Maria says, yes, she believes that it's possible. Good, because it is. So if you're out and you're looking at your competitors in your space, it doesn't matter whether you're selling your knowledge, if you're a coach, if you're a consultant, if you're a service provider, there are people who are doing exactly the same thing that you're doing right now. And they're creating 6-figure months, right? So I'm here to say, if they can do it, then so can you. So Laura says, yes, too. Yeah. So the point is that anybody can do this. It's not that difficult. So let me dig in, and I'm going to break this down as succinctly as I can. Now, I will say this. I'm going to outline the 3 things at the end, but I'm going to set the stage for a lot of it before we get to the core of what I want to share with you. Okay. So bear with me. So I love this. Jenny says, I made it to 5 figures post-COVID. Congratulations, girl. 2020 is time for 6. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Excellent. So I love celebrating all wins. I mean, sometimes people are like, well, I just made my first, whatever, it could be first $100. It could be my first whatever. The reason that the first are so powerful, like Jenny just said, she made it to 5 figures. That's incredible, because if you can make it to 5 figures, you can make it to 6. If you can make, $1, you can make $100. If you can make $100, you can make $1,000. If you can make $1,000, you can make $10,000. It's really about finding the thing, your offer, and matching it up to people who want it at a price point that is going to drive the right amount of revenue in your business. Okay. So to sell things online, you really just need a couple of things. You need something to sell that people want, the people that you want to serve. So you need an offer, and you are going to need to put it in front of the right people. So you're going to need a traffic source. Usually, when I am coaching or consulting people, what I find is they have an offer, but they struggle to get enough people to see it or to talk to in order to get the amount of sales that they want in their business. If that sounds familiar, feel free to say yes. Like, yes, I have this amazing thing, but I can't get enough people to see it, or I can't get it in front of enough people. So when I say traffic, so let's dig into this real quick, because traffic is what I would call a digital marketing term. When we're thinking about who we serve, we're thinking about our people. It's our tribe, it's our perfect person. But sometimes you have to go through a lot of people to find your perfect person. And the traffic piece is, it's a combination of attracting that person to you through something we're going to talk about a little bit more in a minute. But traffic is your person, and having a methodology for making sure that you can do that. So why is it a struggle for people? Well, in some cases, their online communities are very small. Maybe they're just getting started in social, for example. And again, the reality is that social's not where you're going to drive the majority of your sales. The majority of your sales are going to come from getting people in the social space to say, hey, are giving me something value based for free or low cost. You're getting them on your list. You nurture them. The majority of your sales are going to come from your list. But yet we get so wrapped up in all the things we need to be doing on social media. That's one traffic source, right? So again, moving people from social to your list. But traffic could be referrals. It could be getting into other people's communities that are serving your person. It could be, of course, your social communities. It could be your email list. It could be a Facebook group that you either own or that you participate in. It's all about getting your thing in front of the right people. And your traffic that's what that is. That's what I'm calling it. Is you've got to get the right eyeballs on your offer. Okay. So Paul is saying, yes, lacking traffic, you're not alone. Okay. So I want to say that you're not alone. It is probably the number one struggle, I think. But I've said you need two things to sell, but this is the next where it really comes into a conundrum, because you have to pull people out of that traffic. Think about it. You're driving down the road and it's super crowded, right? Like all these people are whizzing by, and how are you, do you honk at people? Like, how do you get their attention, the right attention, and convert them into a lead? Okay. So that lead process, leads and sales are really, I'm going to say leads, I went the wrong direction there. Leads and sales are really the lifeblood of our company, or our sales process, if you will. Without qualified leads, you don't create sales. Can I get an amen there? Like, again, have you ever tried to sell something to someone that didn't want what you were offering? So I use this example all the time, but let's just say that I sell dog food and I'm trying to sell it to a cat lover. Now, obviously that's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous example, but that's the crux of it. If you've got an offer and you're putting it in front of the wrong people, then your lead is broke, if you will, and you're not going to create a sale. I love this. So Carrie says, she's so right. She's like, so important. It's like dating. Have some criteria. Yes. And how do you get that? Like, how do you qualify, if you will, leads? So let's talk about this real quick. If you don't have the right people, you're going to have a really tough time selling them your thing. And going back to what I said before, and the whole purpose of this entire training today is about getting to 6-figure months. Well, you're not going to get there if you don't have the right people to talk to put your offer in front of. I keep hitting the wrong buttons. I'm going to, so let's talk about why don't your leads convert to sales? And I mentioned this before because I wanted to, I'm kind of backwards in this a little bit because I wanted to address the core way that we ultimately create sales in our business. And then I want to give you the formula for it. Okay. But so bear with me as I go through this, but why don't your leads convert to sales? Um, I'm gonna smack this machine here in a minute. My button is not going the right direction here. All right. My tech issues are what they are. There's always something when it comes to live video. If you're serious about creating six-figure months, you need a high ticket offer more than likely, especially if you're struggling to get qualified leads and sales. So let me break this down real quick for you. The reason I say you're more than likely. So, and feel free to jump in with questions or say, wow, that's my problem. Thank you for, telling me that was my problem. Whatever your situation is, I would love to hear from you. So let's break this down. If you want a 5 or 6 figure month, then if you're selling something that is low ticket, meaning I'm going to say anything less than $50, or even if it's less than $100, it's going to take a whole bunch of those particular, your person. You're going to have to find a whole bunch of your person to get to a place where you sell one low ticket thing. And you have to, again, have a whole bunch of stuff, goes into that. So if you have a small community or you have a low traffic source, so going back to the traffic, if you have, if you don't have a major community, if you don't have a lot of money to spend on getting your stuff in front of the people that want it, then you're going to struggle to get to 6 figures a month. You're going to struggle to get to 5 figures a month. Okay. So how many of you have a high ticket offer? When I say high ticket offer, let's put it into a monetary basket. Okay. Anything that you're currently selling for $3,000 to $5,000. How many of you have that? If you don't have this one thing, so I'm going to give you a business ascension quick class right here, real quick. And I'm just going to talk about it real quick because when it comes to building a solid online business, most of the time we have things that are free, low cost, high ticket, and then things that are at a higher price point, even than our high ticket offer. So let's just give you a quick example. I have free stuff all over the place. I have my Business Builders Academy, which is a low ticket offer. I have my high ticket offer, which is my Design to Scale program. And then I have higher ticket, even higher ticket than that, which is things like my mastermind or my one-on-one consulting, things of that nature. So it's a stair step. And the reason that you have an ascension model in your business is so that people will come in from anywhere along the spectrum. But the normal course of how you move people through your business model is something that's free to low cost. They get great results from it. They step into the higher ticket priced things, and you continue to move them through your business model, right? That's traditionally what your end goal is. But if you don't have the high ticket offer, then you're going to struggle again at that lower price points. So I would love, so I'm seeing some have them. So Sandy's saying she does. Jenny says she does. Now, I'm just curious, I'll just say, Robin says, no, she doesn't yet. If you do have a high ticket offer, are you generating sales every week with your high ticket offer? So see, that's the key. If you're going to create a business model. Let me go back to the business model. And this was my point, and I totally lost my train of thought there. So my point that I was making by explaining an ascension model to you was that the majority of your revenue comes in at that high ticket price normally. Now that's not always a standard, like 100%, but normally your business, if you have a full on ascension model, then the majority of your revenue is going to be that mid-tier high ticket offer. So that's super powerful and something you need to understand, that the high ticket offer in your business, if you don't have one, you need it. If you do have one, then you need to be selling it consistently so that you can get to those six-figure months. Okay, so let's move on. And feel free to ask questions. So what I have found, I have a phone funnel blueprint that I'm using to sell my design to scale high ticket offer. And what I found by running this process is something very interesting, and I wanted to share it with you. I'm going to, darn machine. This is fascinating, and I want you guys to really hear this. If you have a high ticket offer and you're selling it, so let me highlight something. If you do have a high ticket offer, something that's between $3,000 to $5,000, it could be more, but I'm just using that as a kind of a generic industry standard kind of price point. More than likely, you're going to have to talk to people in order to sell it. Not all the time, but most of the time, you're going to have to talk to people. And that's why I use my phone funnel blueprint in that context. Is I want to talk to people. One, for two reasons primarily. One, to see where they are and if I can actually help them. And the end goal, of course, is to, sign them up, bring them into our family and get them started so that they can get the transformation thereafter. But what I found, and this is fascinating, is 95% of the time when it comes to making the decision on whether or not they're okay with, saying yes to creating their high ticket offer, building taking their education and, packaging it into something that they can sell. 95% of the time, it's mindset. It's a belief system. So, and this is true, fascinatingly enough, if you're selling a course and you find that people are not going through the course or they're not getting the results that you promised them, it's because they don't believe they can actually get the results. So how many of you have some sort of a training, or how many of you have bought a training? So I'm kind of it's time to sometimes look at ourselves honestly and understand why we do what we do. So I'm going to ask this question from that personal perspective. How many of you have ever bought a training course? You were excited in the moment, you bought it, you spent the money, and you started implementing. And then when it got time to put it out into the world, you froze. You froze. Why does that happen? It's because we get in our stinking heads, y'all. We get in our heads and we say, we don't believe that what we've created is going to, we're scared. It's not going to work. We believe that we are not going to have success with it. So guess what we do? We shove it under the rug and we just go on about our business to the next shiny object. Can I get an amen? So yeah, it is a problem, y'all. It is a serious, serious problem. So you have to believe in whatever it is that you are teaching people, and they have to believe it. And the problem with traditional courses, in my opinion, is that they don't have the consistent reinforcement on the belief system. So therefore they drop the ball. So if you've got a DIY course and somebody buys it, they're out there on their own. That's why I think that coaching and mentorship is so powerful. If you have a training system or a knowledge base or anything that you're trying to give a transformation to your person, you have to come alongside them and continually reaffirm the belief that they had and why they purchased your thing. So, right? So I saw reinforcement system. Yes, Maria, it's so powerful. Vicky says, I'm the next shiny object queen. We've got to break that habit, girl. Now, I am the world's worst too. I will admit it. I do have a little bit of shiny object. And for me, it's more about like seeing great ideas and saying, oh my gosh, it's such a great idea. I could do that. Like, how many of you do that? Like, right? So my team sometimes has to really reel me in. We're like, no more ideas, no more like jumping all over the place. And I think that that's really what I want to share with you guys today is we've got to stop a couple of things. We've got to stop jumping all over the place. We have to have a consistent way to sell what we have. And we've got to believe that we can do it. Otherwise, we're just dead in the water. We're just fooling ourselves. So, all right. So let me tell you a couple of examples of why I believe this, why I am going to prove to you that this is true. And some of you may be in these boats. So feel free to like tell me. So I was talking to this one of the ladies that booked a call, and she says she started off and she was telling me all her struggles, and she was talking about how overwhelmed she is. She's like, I'm doing all the things. I'm getting up each and every day, and I'm, because I ask her like, explain your day to me, right? Like, what does it look like? And it's for us as women. Now, this is not. I'm not dissing on the guys, but I feel like as women, we do compare or compete, if you will, inside of our businesses with the personal life. So we have all the stuff that has to happen in our business. And then we also, if we have littles at home, we worry about that. Like, am I doing too much business? I got to balance that out. If we have dinner to put on the table or dishes to wash or laundry to do, all those things, even though you may have help at home, we still, I think, internalize those things and feel like they're our role, our job. So all the things that we're doing all the time inside of our business, we also have all of what I would call the personal things that pull at us and tug at us. And sometimes it's just psychological. But she kept talking about all the things. She was super overwhelmed. She had all these things going on. Okay, I'm like, all right, so you're doing way too many things. You're not doing things in the right order. But when we got to the end of the call and she needed to make a decision, guess what her objection was? Can anybody guess what the objection that she brought up? I bet you can guess in a hot second. Her objection was, I don't have enough time. So she just told me all the things that she was struggling with, all the overwhelm that she was going through. But when it came down to making a decision around shifting the dynamic in her business, she says, I don't have enough time. So do you have time to continue to do what you've just told me doesn't work? Okay. Now, this is the next one. Again, I'm not dissing on people because everybody's where they are. That's true. But my point is that we need to, and I'll make my point in a second. Hang on. I promise. So I had a call with another lady, and she was saying, I have no support. My husband is totally against what I'm doing. He does not support me. You're never going to create what you could if you went back into your corporate job. You just need to stop this nonsense. I mean, some of the things that she shared with me that he said to her, I'm just going to say it, just like raised the hair on the back of my neck, because I've had the exact opposite experience, and I know I'm blessed. But my husband has been super supportive of me over the years. But I also know that isn't everybody's dynamic. I know that some people don't have a support system. In some cases, their significant other doesn't support them. In some cases, it is, in my case, it was external family, a family who didn't, if I'm a lot of, I don't know if you guys run into this, but I run into this a lot. Even today is, because I work from home, people think I don't work. Does that happen to anybody else? Like, like I'll just use my in-laws real quick. They are retired, but it's the distance between our door and their door is not the same. it's easier for us, evidently, to come to them than it is for them to come to us. And I love them dearly. I have amazing in-laws, but I would love for them to come to us sometimes, visit with us and that kind of thing. The point is that sometimes I think that we get so wrapped up in our situations that we don't think about it through someone else's lens. So yes. So Marie says, yeah, they call it your little hobby. So my challenge to you is, if you have that situation going on, and my case, it's a very small thing, like in the big picture, like it doesn't rub me terribly wrong. But in some cases, it's a barrier for people. It is one of those things that they can't overcome because they hear that little voice saying, oh, how's your little hobby going? Or, how's that little business you got? Point is, when you get to 6-figure months, y'all, you can say, told you. You got to tune that crap out. But the point that I want to make here is, guess what this lady's objection was when it got to the final stages and making a decision on whether or not she was going to pull the trigger on joining and changing her dynamic. Okay. Her objection was, I got to talk to the hubby. So now I'm going to poke a little fun here. All right. And I don't mean it in a nasty way. I promise I don't, because I understand that everybody's got their situations. But this lady had just told me that, her husband doesn't support her. Guess what's going to happen? She's going to go talk to hubby. He is going to turn away. He's going to say, heck no to the no, right? The absolute answer was no. So I love this. Nydia is saying, and I think this is so true, sometimes you create distractors on purpose to avoid facing next steps of your process. It's just an excuse. Amen, sister. So the reason I'm highlighting this is because if you just if you have a high ticket offer and you're getting on the phone with people, even if you don't have it yet, I want you to hear this because this is powerful. Because if you don't have a high ticket offer, you need one in order to get to a 6-figure month consistently. But if you are spending time on the phone talking with people, or you have a sales process of some sort, if you really listen and lean into what they're telling you, in 2 to 4 minutes, you're going to know what the objection to them saying yes is very quickly. So if you can lean in and listen, then you can spend the time that you have on the call helping them navigate through the mindset of why they are going to object in the end. Now, I know that's a little, I kind of am going into this a little backwards, and I told you guys that initially, but if you are at a place where and it's a brand new year, it's time, continuing to do what you've done in the past is not going to get you where you want to go, more than likely. And if there's this old saying, thinking that got you where you are is not going to get you where you want to go. So thinking that got you to 5 or 6 figures won't get you to 7. That's why all successful entrepreneurs out there today invest in masterminds. Do you know why? I mean, at the root of it, it's a lot of times it's collaboration, connection, absolutely. Being in the same room with, people who are doing amazing things. But really at the root of it, it is all about always up-leveling the thinking. It's what is the next thing, because the reality is you're always going to need to do the next thing after you've created something that is going to get you to a revenue stream that is substantial enough to support what you're trying to build in your business. So the reality is you don't want to be doing sales calls. You want to be doing enrollment calls. Okay, so you want people to be ready by the time they say they want to talk to you about whatever your high ticket offer is. You want them to be ready to sign up. So now, like I said, I reverse engineered this a little bit. So you don't want to be doing the sales calls, right? Does that make sense to you guys? Wouldn't it be awesome if you are saying to yourself, okay, I have a high ticket offer. So for those of you who already have a high ticket offer, you could say, all right, if I'm going to, have a system for getting people on the phone, if you don't, let's talk about that. We'll talk about that in a moment. But you want them to be ready to say yes before you ever get them on the phone. Okay. So how do you do that? So I got this cute little picture. I found this on, I think in Canva this morning, but I thought it was adorable because it's like you up here, and I want you to picture yourself as the on the rock, sharing what you know with your peeps. So y'all know I say that peeps all the time. I thought this photo was so appropriate. So you want to indoctrinate them with what you do and how you serve them. So that goes back to content. It's value, 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 value. Show up with a servant-based heart all the time. So how do you do this? So in order to get people to say, this person has a knowledge base, what I'm doing right now is essentially this, where I'm sharing what I know. I'm sharing them with, what a process that I know works. You could do this through a webinar. You could do it through a workshop. You could do it through a 5-day challenge. There's lots of ways that you could do it through a series of videos. You could do it through a Facebook group. You could do it through a blog. There's so many ways that you can do this, but this is the key. And I want you to hear this. Don't do all the things. You choose one thing. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment, but indoctrinating them, because you want to create what is known as a lead circle. And this is going to create one opportunity for you, meaning you're going to create one thing so that all of your leads are attracted to the one thing, and they're always in that circle. So it could be, like I said, it could be a 5-day challenge. It could be a webinar. It could be an educational video. It could be, ultimately, it could even be your blog. I feel like it needs to be something a little bit more than a blog, because it's something you want to point people to. All your traffic essentially goes to this. So you want a lead circle. Now, inside of this lead circle, you teach them how to think. What is different about your thing? What is it that is your unique selling proposition? If you are teaching people how to create more leads or sales in their business, then what is your hook? Like, how are you teaching them to do that? So you're teaching them how to think, whatever it is about your thing, but you're not sharing necessarily all of the how. It's about getting them to say, wow, I absolutely know that this person knows what they're talking about. I need to know how to do this in my business. So teach them how to think about your thing, your unique selling proposition, and then invite them to chat with you. It's that simple. It's that simple. Now, let's break this down. So in my Design to Scale leverage program, I teach a very simple process for this. I call it the 1-by-1-by-1 framework. Now, how many of you guys feel like you are all over the place? You get up every day and you're like, what am I going to post on social media? Let me check my email. I know I'm supposed to be marketing my business today, but let me do that Instagram reel. Maybe that'll be the answer. And that'll be the thing I need to do today. And 3 hours later, you're like, oh, okay, I got that done. Check. Or got to write a blog post. Or I've got a podcast. I got to shoot a audio for that. Or I've got to do outreach. Or I need to get in that Facebook group and post today about XYZ. How many of you feel like you're wearing all the hats, you're trying to do all the things, but none of it, most of it, I'm not going to say none of it, isn't really generating the revenue that you want? So I'm going to give you the exact method for creating 6-figure guys. Now, I want you to think about this through the lens of, if you've been doing whatever it is you're doing and it ain't working, you're not at 6-figure months, you're not at even 5-figure months, like you're not there. But you want to be, and there's a way to do it. Then I want you to think about stopping all the freaking things, y'all. Stop all the things and focus on what your one thing is. That's why I'm giving away the One Thing book this on today's show, because the one thing, I'm gonna highlight the one by one method in just a second, but we're so busy doing all the things that the one thing that is going to make us money gets left by the wayside. So we need to be doing the one thing. So I want you to think about this through the high ticket lens, okay? Your one thing should be your high ticket offer, because if you can get your high ticket offer to a rinse and repeat replicatable system that's creating six figures for you on a monthly basis, your world, your life, your business is going to be forever changed. So think about that for a hot second. One transformation. What is your one high ticket offer? What one transformation that is you can help your person with? If you're teaching them how to create more leads and sales in their business, or if you're teaching them how to use Facebook groups, or if you're teaching them how to do Facebook ads, or if whatever your thing is, whatever your knowledge base is, you could be, teaching people. I'll just give you another example from a whole different outside niche from the traditional online niche space, where you have created a dog sitting business, and there's a lot of people who would love to have a dog sitting business, but they don't know how. And this could go for any type of business, by the way. So you could teach other people how to be dog sitters. The point is, what is your one transformation? That is your high ticket offer. That is your one thing that you're selling. I'll get my buttons right eventually here. The next thing is you need one conversion tool. So I talked about this a minute ago, where you need a circle, right? You need a lead circle. Your lead circle is your one conversion tool. It could be a webinar. It could be a mini webinar. It could be an educational video. It could be a 5-day challenge. It could be whatever it is, but you need one conversion tool. And sometimes you have to test this to ensure that whatever it is you're selling, you're going to be able to convert a lead with that conversion tool. Okay. So if you have one offer, one that provides one transformation for your person, your peep, and you can hook them with the one conversion tool, and then you have one sales system. So in my case, and I would encourage you to think this through this lens too, is, like I said, a high ticket offer usually requires you to get on the phone with people, which means you're probably going to need a phone funnel of some sort. So it's a simple process to get to six figures, guys. It's one thing with one conversion mechanism and one sales system. What would your life look like if you had these three things in place? And all you had to do was drive traffic to your conversion tool, selling your one thing, so that you could talk to them and enroll them. So, what say you? What would your life and business look like if you didn't have to do all the things? I mean, even if you are doing, you can still use social media, you can still build community. You just share your knowledge. You continue to indoctrinate people with what it is that you know, what it is that you can change their life with, whatever knowledge base you have that is going to make a difference for them. But you do it through that one by one model. If you put the one by one model in place, your business will be forever changed, because it streamlines your processes. It streamlines your focus. Everything then goes through that one lens. You're not doing all the things anymore. You are doing the one by one thing. And if you don't know exactly what that looks like, but you'd like to talk about it, all you have to do is go to kimgross.com/game plan call. We can talk about it, see if this is perfect for you. I think anybody that has a knowledge base that has a process, that has a system, that they just need a high ticket offer. They need to package that into something that is going to be easy for them to run through this model. So what I see a lot of, I'm just making sure I didn't miss any questions as we are going. Also want to make sure that I think we're getting ready to announce the winners for the book and the mug. So I'm just so excited. I've seen so many people chipping in with comments. Thank you so much for doing that, because it gives me a lens for, am I saying something that matters in the context of your business? So thank you so much for really chiming in and being a part of the conversation. It means the world to me. So let's see. So Sherry really sums this up so nicely. Focus. Don't try to do all the things. And I would even go so far as to say, stop doing all the things. Spend your time and energy figuring out what your one high ticket offer is, and one conversion mechanism and one sales process. It's that simple. If you can put those three things together, you will have six-figure months. It's that simple. I know it sounds simple. I mean, obviously there's some moving pieces and parts, but if you think about it through that lens, you can stop doing all the things and you can actually create a business that is going to be crazy profitable in 2022. All right, so let me see. Woohoo! So Marie won the One Thing book. Excellent, Marie. Definitely go to kimgars.com/winner. We'll get that. Just give us your details. We'll get the book ordered and sent out to you ASAP. If you don't have the book, or obviously Marie won the book, but it is a great book, and I highly recommend checking it out, just because it really plants a different mindset for us, and it's time for you to, if what you're doing is not working for you to the degree that you want to monetize your business, then it's time to do something different, y'all. It's time. And if reading the book will be a great help, because it really focuses in on what is your one thing, helps you to find what your one thing is. So, all right, let me see. Who won the mug? Hang on. Oh, excellent. So Maria's like, it was already on. I love this. She says it was already on her reading list. So she's excited that she won. I'm excited for you. Let me see who won the mug. Hang on. Oh, here. Katrine. I'm sorry, Maria. I just saw your middle name there for a second when I was pulling it up on the screen. But you are the one for the Possibility Maker mug. Definitely go over to kimgars.com/winner. We'll get that out to you ASAP, but we do need your mailing address. Awesome. Okay, guys, thank you so much for your time and attention. I want to share real quick. Next week, we are going to have a special guest. We have Ralph Burns coming next week at the same time, same space. Interestingly enough, and this is a fascinating dynamic. I was thinking about this last night. I was thinking about the interview next week, and I think Ralph had one of the very first Facebook ads agencies. So we're going to be talking to him next week about, what we need to know about all the changes that are coming. What do we need to know about paid media, essentially, in 2022? It's going to be a really great conversation. I hope you join us, especially if you know you need to be doing ads, or you're already doing ads, but knowing what's coming. I think it'll be a very powerful interview. So try to be here next week if you can. You can always watch on the replay, obviously. So take care of yourselves, everyone. Don't forget, I want to highlight this one last time. Show notes will be in the Experts Unleashed Facebook group. So if you want show notes, you showed up in the middle, for example, and you're like, okay, that was really good, but what'd she say before? Then you can just grab the show notes inside of the Facebook group. And the way to get there is go to kimgarst.com/experts. Let me just put it on the screen real quick. So it's Experts Unleashed. So if you are knowledge base, this is going to be super powerful, I think, in 2022, if you are, trying to sell what package it, sell it, and ultimately make a lot of money with it. So join us over in the group where we'd love to have you be a part of our family over there. All right, guys, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and God bless. We will see you next week, if not before.